It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenny Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good feel-good Friday morning to you. It is the 19th day of May, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. You can add a .com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan is a Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are you on this Friday? The weekend is almost here. I mean, hell, the Panthers in Carolina, they about played till next week last night.
Yeah, they still going? I was hoping to catch the end of that game when I came into work today.
I think it's finished. I'm not 100% sure.
6th longest game in NHL history.
Wow. Final in 4 overtimes.
The funny thing is, too, I was just watching the end of Denver and the Lakers. They had the replay on ESPN or ESPN2. Now I want to watch Jamal Murray go off. And at the end of the game, Mark Jackson's like, these players they're so tired. They're so beat down. And I look at Dan, I go, and now they can go in the locker room and watch the final 3 overtimes of Carolina and Florida.
It was, I mean, that's incredible. 4 overtimes. 2 full games of playoff hockey.
And plus a period.
Yeah.
Yeah, how late did you stay up, though, Anthony? Like, it had to be, hopefully we get to hear somebody later on in the show call in and talk about the entire game, because I would imagine the play was not spectacular there in the 3rd and 4th overtimes.
I mean, guys got to be exhausted. At that point, you know, your training staff, I mean, you're looking around, what do we have to eat? Seriously. Like, yo, what do we have to eat at intermission if we make it? And how quickly can we whip up 28 peanut butter sandwiches? Swear to God. Like, you're looking for everything at that point. Anything you can do.
What time did concessions shut down for those games then? Because normally they try to wrap up with a few minutes left. And then in overtime, it's, you know, next goal ends it. Florida did have a goal reversed in the first overtime. So even if they did reopen it, they're probably like, all right, let's close it back down. And then, no, wait, the game's still going.
I don't know.
Like, that's a nightmare scenario for the people running those as well. And the people that are there.
It's a nightmare scenario for everybody, right? Unless you're you know, just a fan that didn't care about going to sleep.
I'll have to look at the audio, but I was looking through like the game story, and I guess after the 3rd overtime, Carolina's PA announcer came over the mic and just said, "I'm so sorry."
That's great. I mean, that's an epic game. That's an epic game. We had one of those a few years ago that I was working that I think was, I don't know if it was double or triple overtime, but like, yeah, I mean, the Zambonis come out, clean the ice, you just keep going. You go all night if you have to. And I want to make sure I don't get my stories misconstrued because there was a late one, and then there was one in which, you remember the name Martin Firk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Firk had one in a 1-0 overtime game. I'm not sure if it was the same game, but just an absolute blast that won the game. And it was that was pretty incredible. That's one of my and it was in the playoffs. That was probably one of my favorite sports moments of working in sports right there. Just because it was playoffs, everything was on the line. It didn't matter that it was ECHL. You know, it was just, those guys were playing with everything that they had. And my God, this guy scores one in overtime to end it and allow us all to go home. That's the big deal, because the next day's rough. I didn't stay up past, I was like, oh man, they're in overtime. Denver's cleaning up here against LA. It's time for me to go to sleep. We'll figure it out when we wake up. I just, I can't do it anymore. I told somebody last night, I'm on the back nine. At my age, I'm on the back nine. I just hit the turn. Got some snacks for the road. I can't stay up like that anymore. Not to try to be coherent at 6 o'clock. I'm barely coherent on a regular day. But hey, it's that's awesome. It's a great story for all players involved. It's unfortunate that it happened in game one, because that's exhausting. That is exhausting. There's nothing. And of course it would be Kachuk who would score the game winner. But as Ryan mentioned, the sixth longest game in NHL history, geez Louise, that is just absolutely exhausting for these two teams. Game 2 is tomorrow. So I don't even know what, from a planning standpoint, I'm not sure what you do. You're not going to have any sort of skate around. The routine's gone out the window now. I mean, everybody sleep till 1 p.m.?
Team activity. Find a hot tub store. Tell them, hey, we'll give you this much money to fill them all up. Let's put on the jets.
Yeah, I mean,
we have some live models here.
Well, the crazy thing is, so hot tub versus cold tub, right?
Whichever one, you split them up. Half of them you fill with the hot water, turn the heater on. The rest, fill with ice.
So we've been doing cold tubs forever. As far, you always saw guys jump into the pig trough with the ice, right? And, they were like, oh, it's for swelling and inflammation and blase. Did you know that when your body is hyper cold like that, it releases a special protein to help your recovery process? And that's why people do it. Also, there is no other exercise that will burn fat as quickly as jumping into a cold tub. There's nothing, no level of cardio or HIIT training or anything like that will burn fat as quickly as getting into a cold tub.
Your body's probably going flight or fight mode at that moment.
Exactly. It's just trying to heat itself. I mean, I was like, wow, that's. I don't know. I just don't like them. I don't like them at all. I don't want any part of that. It's just too much discomfort. I want to live a soft life. I don't want any discomfort. I don't need any of that. But I did think about it. I was like, well, you could get a tub, just hop in there every day. You only got to be in there for 6 minutes or something. It's nothing crazy, They started briskets, and they were done. They were done for the third overtime for them to feast before coming out of the fourth. Yeah, I mean, what's your post-game meal? What time are you getting back to the hotel? The NBA would cancel tomorrow's game and play it in a week for load management. That's pretty good. They wouldn't cancel the playoff game, Mr. Sarcasm here, but yeah, they definitely. I mean, everybody's done it. It's the playoffs, so everybody's got a different attitude in the playoffs. AB, did you work the OT game when Bonus scored the shorthanded one to eliminate Wheeling? I think so. I don't remember. That's really the only game I really remember was Martin Firk scoring the OT winner. I remember we got our hearts broken in OT early on one year in the playoffs, in a playoff game. They had because that's the thing, we wasted all this time cleaning the ice with a Zamboni. If we don't win, we better play. That's the last thing you want to do is spend, 18 minutes clearing the ice so these guys can come out and get a quick goal a minute in. Like, what a waste of time. That's happened to us before. I think Jeff Lurg was in net for that game, but like I said, it's tough to remember. We'll step aside. When we return, we're going to pick back up in this OT thriller between Florida and Carolina next here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, so the Michigan Association of
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Got any plans for Mental Health Action Day? You do now. Join us online on Thursday, May 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. for In Tune, a free live stream event featuring performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Barrel Bones, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to find out how you can log in and join the celebration for free. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day. Take action. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org and join the celebration.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Hey, by the way, now's a great time. I heard weather's going to be really nice all over the state of Michigan today, so that's going to be fantastic. Golf season's here. Matt Golden and his team, they're ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes offers not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Tullymore not only features top-line accommodations, but also top-line golf and the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. Visit tullymoregolf.com, tullymoregolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Matthew Tkachuk just said, I got to get this over with.
Marinette flag. Brent Burns with 15. Bennett keeps the puck alive. Tkachuk with a shot. He scores! Matthew Tkachuk with 12 and 7/10 seconds remaining in overtime number 4.
I mean, to have that happen at home is absolutely devastating. Panthers are toast. Or pardon me, Carolina's toast. There's just, I'm sorry. There's nothing. That's it. And it wasn't anything like necessarily spectacular. It's just Tkachuk, left-handed shot. He's moving from right to left, between the face-off circles, and he goes, thin mints, top shelf, socks and undies, and nothing the goaltender could do. Like it all happens so fast in the game of hockey. Like that just kind of is what it is, And Carolina with basically a turnover in their own zone and didn't get rid of the puck. I mean, how many times we've seen this as a Red Wings fan? Puck dumped down to the corner, and you can't clear the zone. You can't maintain possession. You turn it over, and boom. But, part of that, and honestly, part of that might just be fatigue. Because one of the big things when you start to get physically fatigued, you'll get mentally fatigued as well. And that's why, like, a lot of times, athletes will talk about being mentally strong. Because even though your body hurts, you still have to be very much in tune with what's going on. That's why they sleep-deprived Navy SEALs, because they have to wear them down to a state where physically they're not, they shouldn't be able to perform to test if you're mentally strong enough to be able to do the job. And they do that for an entire week during their buds training. Like, they don't sleep. Terrible. Sounds awful. One of the underrated things about that, I was listening to an interview recently where they talked about the amount of sand in your shorts and the amount of chafing that goes on, and how uncomfortable that is. Food for thought. Just throw that out there while you're trying to carry around a boat on top of your head. But you wear down physically, then you start thinking about it. My legs hurt, my arms hurt, this hurts. I mean, your body, your mind will quit way before your body does. The human body is amazing. And so when you think about being tired, you think about this hurts, that hurts. You think about that puck goes down into the corner, and it's not cleared well. And really there's no reason whatsoever for this play to happen. I mean, you're talking about a puck that's dumped, one guy chasing it down into the corner from Florida. Carolina's digging it out. They got good numbers there. You got four guys basically on the right dot and to the boards. Like, that's it, 2-on-2. I mean, you could have easily carried that one around the net if you wanted to. You would have had to throw some sort of like hesitation or fake that you were going to try to backhand it, which is what ended up costing you. The backhand gets up the glass and is taken away, and then Tkachuk in a blink of an eye, whoop, there it is, right over the goaltender's glove. I mean, just shocking. Frederik Andersen is in good position. He just can't make the save. And that's in the final seconds of the fourth overtime, too. It's 3-2. Tkachuk just doesn't give up. Like, what a great embodiment for, like, the modern-day hockey player, Matthew Tkachuk. Florida won its 7th consecutive road game in these playoffs. 7 straight road wins for Florida. They improved to 5-0 in overtime in these playoffs. And now game 2 is tomorrow night in Raleigh, less than 48 hours after the teams played 2 full games of hockey and then some. Roughly 6 hours after the start. Whew, man, that's tough. Anderson finished with 57 saves for Carolina. How about Bob? How good has Bob been? Sergei Bobrovsky, 63 saves. Good for him. You know, as a goaltender.
Nuts. That they played the entire game is, that's some stamina.
Oh, I mean, the constant getting up, getting down, getting up, getting down. 63? Jeez Louise. Florida hasn't been to a conference finals since 1996, and you got to take a look at their roster. A majority of the guys weren't even born the last time they made the conference finals. But, you know, they had late surge at the end of the year. They make a run towards a wild card. They get into the postseason. They rattle the cage by beating up on the Boston Bruins with their record-setting 65 wins and 135 points. They beat the Toronto team that was buzzing off of their first series win in decades. And now you get handed Carolina, who had the league's second-best regular season record, and now has their first series deficit of the postseason. Like, this is, you know, second time in 5 years Carolina's made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, and the last time around was kind of a feel-good young group who ended the postseason drought. And now they're back, a little bit more experience, ready to go. And you lose one of the longest games in NHL history. Now, the longest game in NHL history actually involved our Detroit Red Wings when they beat the Montreal Maroons 1-0 in 6 overtimes on Mud Br0's score that was 116 minutes and 30 seconds of extra play. Wow. Who the hell is Mud Br0? Bruneteaus. Wow. Well, that's an apostrophe S. So, I hope I'm saying it. Br0, maybe Br0. Florida's previous longest game was 1 hour and 4 minutes, 31 seconds. It was game 4 of the 96 Stanley Cup Final against Colorado. Remember what happened there. Carolina's previous record was 114-47 for game 3 of the 02 Stanley Cup Final. The teams each lost both of those games. And so you have, look, good for Florida. Go on the series.
Good for Florida. Who would, like, I mean, when we were kids, and not really kids, when we were younger, the Panthers were kind of just the laughing stock of the NHL. And for the last few years, they've been getting there. And now it looks like, I mean, I think they'll probably win the cup. They've just been on a roll.
And it just goes to prove that all you have to do is get into the tournament, right? It's the second time. And we have seen this. We've seen this before with Vegas, right? You just get in, and once you're in, you'll figure it out, right? You'll be able to play. You'll be able to get this done. You know, you can win some games.
You know, it's kind of like, I mean, the Astros were the same way. The Astros were the laughing stock of the MLB for a long time, and now they have been dominant for a few years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because obviously, as I mentioned, they had made the conference finals in 96. Their first year was 93-94. So they made it to the Stanley Cup final in the 95-96 season. 96-97 lost in the quarterfinals. And then 99-2000 lost to the quarterfinals again. And then there was that stretch between 2001 and 2011 where, I mean, you're talking about a team that they were just god-awful. Like, there's nothing you can – it's tough. It's hard to win. Hard to win at the NHL level. But good for Florida, man. Good for Florida. We'll step aside when we return. Lakers Nuggets. Did they go to overtime? We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. No, first base.
Go, 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 run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
It's vacation time, so you have alerted your post office, dropped the dog off at the kennel, and set the timer for the lights in your house. But did you call the police? Many of Michigan's police departments will check on your house regularly while you are away. Contact your local police department to see if this program is available in your area. Just one more service that Michigan's police officers provide every single day.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Conference finals action in full effect. Don't miss out on any of it. The NBA playoffs on the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on the excitement of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals every single night. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet or $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay. They've got what you need every day during the conference finals. It's fantastic. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place the same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you get a bonus bet back up to $10. How about that? You make your giant parlay. You bet 5 to win $38,000. If you don't win, that's okay. They give you some side change in return. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE, only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling and Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Got a really good text here from Chris. He points something out. Florida's forecheck is relentless. The Bruins couldn't handle it. The skill of Toronto couldn't handle it. Now they do it for nearly 8 periods. The final play is exactly how they got there. Going to be a really tough out. Man, when you are pressuring, when you're pressuring and your forecheck is good, like that's my mom really likes that tune, by the way. She wants you to know that, Dan. Dan, would you inform my mom who sings that song?
Biz Marquee.
Biz Marquee, Mom. There you go. I don't know if she's ever actually heard the full song, but she's pretty vulgar. She's a vulgar lady, so it might be right up her alley. Florida just fired a great coach for some scandal. They also fired a great coach when Gerard Gallant, and I believe when he took them far too while here in Detroit. Crickets. Oh, my God, this guy wants fired. But we already fired our guy. What do you mean? We got a new head coach. We got a new coach. Have you ever seen anybody that wants to fire people like Freddie does? Freddie's like the Milwaukee Bucks of sports.
The NBA?
Seriously. Freddie is basically like the NBA. You could have the best record in the league. He will fire you tomorrow. You'll be out of here.
Freddie, the NHL does the same thing, too. They recycle coaches pretty frequently.
But my God.
Just the NBA does it with coaches that have won championships.
Well, I mean, the Pistons isn't James Borrego, I think is his name. He's like in the Pistons interviews. He never did much.
Yeah, they're interviewing a lot of non-head coaches too. They're doing a lot of assistants.
If Kevin Ollie's hired as the coach, I quit.
You know, look, I've been hearing a lot of Pistons fans sharing the same sentiment. I would just like to know why. That's all. I mean, if he ends up getting hired, he did have some success at Utah. I don't know where he's coaching now. He's in the G League, right?
Overtime elite.
Overtime elite. Like, look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I don't watch the G League. I don't care about it. It's a good idea. I think it detracts from college hoops with that pathway to overtime elite.
You know who has season tickets to the G League? Albert.
To Grand Rapids?
No, to the Detroit team.
Oh yeah, duh.
The
Motor City Crew.
Yeah, it kind of. I want to go. I just never really think about it. I mean, it can't cost more than $10, right, to go?
I don't know what it costs, and it's not
to
disparage.
Alcohol?
It's not to disparage the players, but there's nothing that is going to draw like college basketball. And so when I look at a little bit of some of the prospects that are coming in, the guys that we've seen, great. The guys that we haven't seen, That's kind of tough. And with all of this chatter around Wemby, look, dude, he's going to be good. But to think that this guy in year one's going to be Bill Russell, I think that's preposterous. Like, it's going to take time. Yes, he's still going to his average days are going to be better than a majority of the league. And so I was sent a highlight of somebody scored on him. Like, it's going to happen. He's going to get dunked on. Somebody's going to dunk on him. This is the NBA. This isn't CYO hoops.
That was I just had to troll.
Oh, it was you. I forgot it was you. Yeah, Dan sends his clips like, oh, this guy's going to be good. Like, look at this dude get a layup. And I'm like.
It was undrafted.
I don't give a rat's behind it. That guy came from Uzbekistan.
It was Kenneth Lofton, man,
Yes.
in the league, who I think also had a 40-point game in the NBA this year.
Like, come on, man.
Just because he's has the spare tire around the stomach doesn't mean he's not a good basketball player.
Then that, I mean, we actually see that a lot, which is strange. You'd think with all the cardio, but whatever. But it is somebody's going to dunk on him. He's going to get scored on. Like, these things are going to happen. Like, all these people that have said all this stuff, is he a better prospect than LeBron James? People are like, oh, I don't remember this much hype around LeBron James. And, like, the clips come out, and the guy's like, oh, well, I wasn't born yet. And it's like, well, what are you talking about?
Say all the people, like, did LeBron
NBA
get this much
Twitter?
hype? Like, yeah, you guys are 19 years old.
Dude, do we sound old or what? Like, yeah, you knuckleheads.
It's like
guy had high school games on ESPN.
We got to watch his entire high school senior year on ESPN.
He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Was there this? But there was more
Slam
hype.
magazine.
Can you imagine if Wemby would have played here? I mean, we're hyping up guys that are barely any good to begin with.
Trying to hype up these McDonald's All-American that will average 8 points a game their freshman year and be the 6th pick in the draft the following year.
Unbelievable. You know, our hype machine is unlike anything else. You got Baller's Life and Hoop Mixtape and Hoop this and Hoop that. Like, dude, settle down. Like, 99% of college athletes are doing, going pro and something other than sports. Like, remember that. Goodness gracious. So, yeah, do I think Wembanyama is going to be great? Yes. I think he's going to be an all-NBA player. I'd be willing to wager on that. He's going to be that good. Is he going to take the San Antonio Spurs to the playoffs in year one? No. Their roster stinks. Well, AB, how would you say that about the Pistons? Because if he couldn't take the Pistons there, then we've wasted our time over the last few years. That's what we've done. That's what we've done. Then our roster isn't good enough. We've just been wasting time praying for the lottery gods. Just stupid. Just dumb.
We won it, people. We did. We got Kate Cunningham. Why do we think we didn't win the lottery?
Because we didn't win it this year. I don't like this year is different. Like, that was then, this is now, Dan. You got to quit living in the past. You got to be here for the future, Dan. We can't worry about other
I think
lotteries.
it was also that we fell to 5th. If we got like the 3rd pick, I'd be like, okay.
Okay.
You know what? Sure. That's fine.
Whatever.
But falling to 5th, that hurt a lot.
Yeah, and whoever we get, I'm sure is going to be all rookie and then traded somewhere. No, I'm teasing. But just the Wemby stuff that I've seen over the last couple days. This is the expectation. It doesn't really matter. Like, he's going to get paid. He'll be fine. He's not going to be out of the league in 2 years. Like, I just don't foresee that happening. I'm not even worried about his body right now. Like, he'll put on the weight. Like, he'll get the nutrition and the physical training that he needs. I'm not worried about that. But he's going to play a lot more of a perimeter game. The guy shoots running one-footed three-pointers, for God's sakes. Like, he's fine. But all these people all over every show talking about this guy better be this, or if he's not LeBron, Oscar Robinson. What did Chris Broussard say? The dumbest thing I've ever heard.
He's not KD, Anthony Davis, or this person. It's a failure.
Yeah. I think he might have said like Kareem or something crazy.
Probably. And
it's like, dude, he's not. It's not. That doesn't make him a failure. He's going to be all NBA. He's going to reach that level. He's going to lead a team. It ain't going to be the Spurs because they stink. They stink. I mean, at least we have Jalen and Cade and Jaden. What do they got? They are awful. The good news for them. Did you see, by the way, his reaction though when Houston got 4th? He was, oh, thank God.
Yeah, and what's his name from Houston made some comment about it already.
Who, Green? Weren't they going to deal him?
Yeah, the idiot kid.
Yeah. Well, Now that's somebody who had a lot of hype around him that's like, you're just average player.
I got my chip on my shoulder for all the one team that passed me in the draft.
Stupid. God. All right, last night's game, Jamal Murray. This game 2 was a game in which you needed the other guys to perform, and boy, did they ever.
Free ball throughout the playoffs as Jokic falls to the floor.
He got in a collision with Schroeder.
Murray leans in, double clutching, got it. Murray fires away a three. It's good. Jamal Murray struggling all night, making some big buckets here in the fourth. Green fakes a three. Shot clock at 5. Murray with Davis on him. He's going to have to put it up. Step back, three-pointer. It's good. Jamal Murray from way downtown.
Great call by Mike Br0's. I'm disappointed in those highlights. We didn't get to talk about Garfield eating lasagna from Mark Jackson or, just like the meme that you sent me, Ryan, of those three. Do we need a 3-man booth plus a sideline reporter? Can we just be done with the 3-man booth? Both sides do. Give me Harlan and Stan Van. Get rid of Reggie. Give me Jeff and Mike and get rid of Mark Jackson. And I'm fine with that. I think it's a colossal waste of money to put that third guy in the booth. But this was a game about the other guys. We know that LeBron is going to be LeBron James. Although last night he looked a little sort of out of sorts. He had 22, 9, and 10. Still looked out of sorts. You talk about nothing's ever good enough. Goodness gracious. He was 9 of 19 from the field, but 0 of 6 from 3. Had a wide open transition dunk that he was going to try to do his reverse and lost control of the ball. He just didn't something didn't seem right with LeBron there.
He looked old.
He did. You know what? You're right. That's
it's the
exactly
first time in his NBA career where it's just like, yeah, you're past it.
He had the dunk that, he was open for another dunk and ended up having to lay it in, and it's like, man, that elevation. Anthony Davis had 41 minutes. He was 4 of 15 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. And really, Rui Hachimura, this was his game. He started off 7 of 7 from the field. He was killing them. And Austin Reeves, Hillbilly Kobe, 8 of 16 from the floor, 5 of 9 from 3 from Hillbilly Kobe. Like, he was great. D'Angelo Russell had 10. He was carving a little bit there late in the game, just couldn't get a three to fall. And the Lakers got the game that they needed. They got the game that they needed with, some other guys doing some big things. But for the Denver Nuggets, when you got a team and your starting 5 is shooting, 3 of 8. KCP had a very Detroit Pistons-esque game. Very Detroit Pistons. Like, that was a little bit of a throwback for him. A little throwback performance. Jamal Murray was 11 of 24. Struggled early. Turned it on late. Finished with 37 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 23 points in the fourth quarter for Jamal Murray. Happy for him. Michael Porter, he was good. 16, 7, and 3. Nikola Jokic, 23, 17, and 12 with 3 steals. I don't know. Some people didn't vote for him for most valuable player, but their MVP sitting at home. And they gave him the award because he cried about it. He cried about it. And when the fact that we were going to have a 3-time winner, it's like, well, have we had any other 3-time winners? Is he good enough to do it? I don't know how you watch the guy and not see it. By the way, hopefully when you are watching the series, if you're staying up, when Jokic is in the game, watch for the urgency when a ball goes out of bounds, how quickly he tries to get that ball to the ref and then get that ball back.
I saw one go out of bounds, and he actually ran down the other side of the court.
Well, if he wasn't responsible for inbounding, then that would make sense.
Wasn't his ball anyway the first time.
Oh, see, the shields are up, boys. The shields are up.
That's at least they have inbound plays, right?
That's true, too. You should have inbound plays. You absolutely should. 4 consecutive wins in this playoffs for the Denver Nuggets, and they are heating up. They had their final 2 wins to knock out the Suns, and I'm so sick and tired of listening to people talking about Kevin Durant. Dude is not in the playoffs. And then the counter-argument was
Kevin Durant.
LeBron had to join a super team for him to win his first. I'm like, what do you think Kevin Durant did? Like, how was that your argument?
Who's talking about Kevin Durant right now?
That damn group chat.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen anything about him on
you should
on Twitter.com.
He's not playing. That's my point. He's
okay.
not playing. You shouldn't see anything. This guy's acting like the dude's best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, he's not even playing. What are you talking about? I'm watching the Lakers and the Nuggets. You're talking about Kevin Durant. I'm watching the Celtics and the Heat. You're talking about Kevin Durant. I asked him. I said, is Kevin Durant, it was like game 5. I was like, is Kevin Durant going to be able to play tonight? And everyone's like, oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? I said, is he going to be able to play? And like, I didn't see anything. I said, yeah. How's he supposed to run up and down the court with a dude who's 240 pounds hanging from his groin? Everybody laughed at me. I'm like, I'm dead serious. Like, how you going to play with you hanging around down there? The guy can't run up and down the floor like that. What's the matter with you? This is about the Nuggets and the Lakers. Keep telling me about Kevin Durant. Guy's not even the playoffs. LeBron in this series, like I'm not going to say get your brooms. I think Game 3 in L.A., I think is an L.A. winner. I really do. I think Game 3 is an L.A. winner.
Is this a gentleman's sweep we're looking at?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. L.A. wins Game 3. They exhaust themselves and all their resources. And then Game 4 and Game 5 go to Denver, and they await a slobber knocker of what comes out of the Eastern Conference. But LeBron, he looks like he's got some miles on the tires right now, and that's just – guys played a lot of hoops.
38-year-old LeBron is still a top 20 player in the NBA.
Oh, without question.
Right. Like, it's no longer like we can expect LeBron to go out like he's going to put 50 up tonight because the Lakers need him to. I think that gear has been lost.
Yeah, and there's been a little elevation loss.
But it's still like, okay, I can't do my 50-point game, but I can still give you 25, 15, and 10 if, like, I really need to.
Mm-hmm. All right, look, we have to remember that we have to view, as you said, LeBron James is a 38-year-old with 20 seasons.
And with how many more additional seasons due to long playoff runs?
And Olympic Games.
Well, that's just a scrimmage for him.
You still got to go out there. You still got to travel. Like it's still
all season workouts.
It's still time that you are not.
With how the USA has been, that's off season workouts.
Well, they are good because of him and Kobe and the Redeem Team. I still haven't watched that documentary, by the way. I need to do that.
I don't know if I could handle all the fluffing of each other.
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't need to see them just like, oh, Dwayne Wade's so great, LeBron's so great, Bosh so great, Kobe's so great. Like, I don't need to watch an hour and a half of that because you know what I can do? I can just look on social media where they do it every other day.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Again, you missed the point of the text. It wasn't great like other texts. Meanwhile, players regressed this year under a new coach. I don't think that the players regressed under the new coach. I think they had a better. Did they not have a better season this year than they did last year?
Sider and Raymond, they're going to have sophomore slumps because the league has tape on them.
They're fully prepared.
Like that's just something that just happens in every sport.
Was it Lalone's fault that Jacob Arana just went AWOL? Like, you honestly think the team regressed this year? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for Roast Umber Coffee. It's a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And their Nitro Cold Brew coffee is a convenient and healthy option with no sugar or additives. So if you want a great coffee or energy drink to power you through your morning and your day, it's available in ground or whole bean or in cans. More information on the website and direct delivery to your door at roastumber.com.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Garter can help your business today. Go to beangarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at tullymoregolf.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Danny Kayla, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you. And, you can join the program at any time. You know this. I know this. We all know this. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. On BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. We had an erroneous false text that was sent to us talking about the Detroit Red Wings and how they didn't improve, how they took a step back. In fact, last season was the best year they have had since 2015-2016. Yeah. Yep. And that was under Derek Lalonde, the new head coach. So that, if you want to fire everybody, that's fine, but you can't say that they didn't get better when they absolutely did get better. Like that just it's pretty, I need facts, not opinion. You got to give me facts here. And if you're not going to present the facts, they were better by 3 wins and 6 points total versus last year. So I don't call that a regression. And that was after look at the way they finished the season after that debacle in Ottawa, right? When they sold everybody and they just said, "To hell with it. We're gonna try to restart this thing kind of on the fly a little bit," and that's going to be very, very difficult to do. All right, what else is going on in the sports arena? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings across the world of sports. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, the NFL owners are set to okay the 49ers Levi Stadium as the host of Super Bowl 60. League meetings in March, the San Francisco 49ers were confident they'd be bringing the Super Bowl back to Levi's, and barring a sudden change, that's going to be it. Bay Area has the opportunity. We'll be honored to host Super Bowl LX. Wow. Also known as Super Bowl 60. I don't know. Should the Bay Area accept the bid? It would bring the Super Bowl back to Levi Stadium for the first time since the Broncos beat the Panthers. Super Bowl 50. Cam Newton did not dive on the fumble and cost him the game, so never forget. Be the third Super Bowl played in the Bay Area. The Niners beat the Dolphins in Super Bowl, 19, a game that was played at Stanford Stadium way back in 1985. So the Super Bowl is going back out to the Bay Area. It was cool. I went out there for Super Bowl 50. Like it was a unique experience to be able to get out there to San Francisco for the first time. I don't know if I'd go back. Dirty city, a lot of homeless, just garbage everywhere, overpriced, but very scenic. Very scenic, like the Full House neighborhood when you in the street that you kind of got to curve all the way down. That's kind of cool. Golden Gate Bridge is something you definitely should see in person because the pictures don't do it justice, just how massive that structure is. Alcatraz, that's cool. I wouldn't even need a guide for Alcatraz. Would you need a guide to get around Alcatraz, or would you know how to get from point A to point B? Would you be able to get through the prison, up to chemical engineering? Would you be able to get to the officers' quarters?
No.
Well, you didn't play enough Call of Duty. I could get you up and down across that island so fast.
Okay, you think that's how it's actually laid out, or?
Oh, it's 100% factual. Every blade of grass.
For sure.
Every blade of grass. I get you all the way across the island.
Flowers on Alcatraz now and stuff. It's a park.
Yeah, I'm aware. You could visit it. You could take a
I
boat.
know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I doubt it's. I don't know. Maybe it's exactly the same. Maybe they went in there.
Sports news, the leader of the PGA, Eric Cole's resuming his round. Second shot right in the river.
Bridge over the River Kwai. Great film. Update, but no vote on the Commanders sale this month. So the NFL owners will not vote on the Washington Commanders sale during their meetings next week in Minnesota, according to a league official. So Dan Snyder released a purchase and sale agreement for the Commanders with a group led by the 76ers and Devils co-owners Josh Harris on Friday. The Snyders, who first announced their intention to sell in November, agreed to sell the team for $6.05 billion. While a vote this month was considered unlikely, the NFL's Executive Vice President of Communications and Public Affairs and Policy, Jeff Miller, what a title he's got, said there would be no vote when the owners convene in Minneapolis this weekend. The league, staff, and finance committee will continue to review the details of the transaction. We'll provide membership with an update in Minnesota. The guy wants to sell the team. I mean, hey, let's go. Let's get it done. Steelers and quarterback Mitch Trubisky are finalizing a 2-year extension. That's kind of odd. Last night in the playoffs, a couple of wild ones. First, on the Stanley Cup side of things, a final in 4 overtimes. One of the longest games in NHL history saw the Florida Panthers win 3-2 over the Carolina Hurricanes in game number 1 at Carolina. Game number 2 for the Denver Nuggets hosting the LA Lakers finished up with a 108-103 victory for the Nuggets, who take a 2-0 series lead. Jamal Murray scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. Congratulations to him. That is very exciting if you are like me and an anti-Laker, because that is awesome. That's what we want. That's what I've been waiting for. Get them out of here. I hope to God the league gets Miami and Denver, because I think that's going to be fantastic. And if the Celtics Heat or Celtics Lakers, we've seen a million times. You'll get game 2 of the Heat and Celtics tonight. Miami leads that series, stole game 1 on the road. Game 2 is tonight, 8:30 over on TNT. On the Stanley Cup side of things, we had a game 1 last night. You'll get a game 1 tonight. It'll be in the Western Conference. The Stars and Golden Knights, game number 1, 8:30 puck drop over on ESPN. PGA Championship, we'll get you an update on that coming up here shortly. Got a couple texts to get to. Heard from a source, Troy Weaver's not hiring. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. Heard from a source that Troy Weaver is not hiring a coach of a specific race or color, regardless of how great their resume is. I heard this after I made a comment about how Flip Saunders' son may be an underrated candidate, Mike Malone's right-hand man in Denver. I don't think you can just go out there and immediately exclude people because of what color they are. That sounds irresponsible. Where did you hear? Who's texting that? Where did you hear that?
That is a first-time texter.
That's a first-time texter?
Yeah.
That is do we got a name with that?
No.
Wow. I almost felt bad even reading that, because you better have some real concrete proof of an allegation like that. Let's hope Hutch, Rodrigo, Houston, Pascal, Mitchell, etc. don't sophomore regress, because the whole world is picking them, and they all will be needed in their roles. Learning how to win is the biggest obstacle. When it happens, it's a moment the light switch turns on. You're missing the whole point. I said Florida has been firing great coaches over and over and winning still big. Here it's crickets. Let me know when your facts, when the Red Wings have been as good as Florida in the last 8 or 9 years. We are holding their jock. Name a player on Florida your listeners will know ASAP. Matthew Kachuk. I'll wait. Have Albert block my text again. Albert's not blocking your text. Will you relax and take a breath? It's Friday. What do you? So we got to.
Albert couldn't even look at our text if he wanted to.
Yeah, you said that they regressed under the current coach. I brought you the factual information that they did not regress under the current coach. Should they have fired Blashill? Yeah, they tried. It didn't work. They didn't fire him. They kept him. They eventually let him go. He joins Cooper's staff at Tampa Bay. We get Derek Lalonde, and we can all move forward now with the team that we have, the picks that we have coming, and a real whole lot of prayer that these guys do a whole hell of a lot of work this offseason to get geared up and ready to go. All right, we'll step aside when we return. PGA Championship Day 1 plus Lions Trivia. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
At Mercantile Bank, we believe supporting the communities we serve is a vital part of who we are. Our team is here to make a positive impact, a real difference, and we're always looking for leaders to join our team because we're not just a bank, we're a partner, here to support what matters most. Come grow with us. Visit mercbank.com to learn more and let's support our community together. Mercantile Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Employer.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! Go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Reminder, golf season's here. We got a hot one today. Matt Golden and his team ready to welcome you with open arms. One of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort and Canadian Lakes, offering not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives. Located about an hour north of Mount Pleasant. 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Hour north of Grand Rapids. Sorry, messed up my direction there. Got a little confused. Can't read a compass. It's Up North Golf without the drive and the lodging to be able to cater to you, your partner, your foursome, or up to 400 of your closest friends and family. Call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837, or visit TullymoreGolf.com. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. We'll talk to Andy Dirks coming up in hour number 3 this morning. Excited to talk about the Tigers and where they're at, plus where he's at, what he's got going on. I was like, yo, he's on the show, and boom, next thing you know, he's in the booth with Dan Dickerson. So how that all came about, I'm excited to ask him about that and more when we talk to Andy Dirks at 8:35. I better not get blamed for that silly bleep text. No, I mean, look, you should be concerned about all the rookies who came out, and not necessarily how they played last year or the fact that they make quote-unquote slump. Is they set the bar pretty high. But the team as a whole got better this offseason. So, I mean, will Aiden Hutchinson, if he has 7 sacks, will people be like, oh, my God, what a regression. Will they do that? Or will they understand that he might have had 7 and Houston might have had 6? And, does the team sack number go up? Does team defense, does that number increase across the league? Comparatively speaking to where they rank in total defense. If their individual numbers are down, are people going to whine and complain even though the team is playing well and only surrendering, 17, 18, 20 points a game? That's what it comes down to. Are can you handle maybe a step back in individual production, but overall the team playing better? All right, time now. It's hour 2. It's segment 2. It's Will and Comstock Park's favorite part of the show. It's time for... Wow, Lions trivia really hard. Really hard today. What former Detroit Lions defensive back who was in his 3rd year in 2021 Yeah, that makes sense.
Quandre Diggs.
Mother served 25 years in the U.S. Navy and remains a Navy Reserve commander. What former Detroit Lions defensive back?
Quandre Diggs.
Quandre Diggs is not correct.
Is it Dan's boy?
Dan, have a guess?
Gosh, I feel like we saw this story.
He's no longer on the team.
Okay, that does.
Oh, wait. Miles Killebrew.
Oh, that is incorrect.
I'll say Darius Slay.
Oh. I thought you guys were going to get it. Tough one, though, today. Correct answer is Amani Oruwariye. Mother's name is Karen. Bing bong. Karen Oruwariye, a Naval Reserve commander. Also surprised at how DeAndre Swift and Jeff Okudah suddenly went from bums to the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's every fan
the
base
Swift hype train has been there, I feel like, for 3 years nationally. Like, he can be this, he can be that. It's like, even last year going into the fantasy football season, people were taking him like as the 5th overall running back.
Oh.
So I feel like people can see what he's capable of, just don't watch enough games to see what actually happens.
Yeah, and he doesn't play enough games to see what actually happens. Yeah, or it's just
like, oh, well, his production's good, but he's been hurt. It's like, well, if you keep getting hurt.
I can't just sit around and wait on your potential. but I can see you running out of bounds. I can
Right.
see that. I can absolutely see that. All right, day number 1 at the PGA Championship. Bryson DeChambeau, as Ryan likes to call him, is the leader in the clubhouse. 4 under par, shot a 66 in round number 1. Dustin Johnson right there. He is 3 under. Scotty Scheffler at 3 under. Corey Connors, the Canadian.
Eric Cole is still out there, so he's 1 back of the leader. He was leading until, like Ryan said a few moments ago, he put one in the river.
Yeah, he's on.
He's got 3 holes left.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's what through 15.
Yeah, Phil's still out here. He just had an old man shot that came short of the green.
Tough. Yeah, Phil is +1. Patrick Reed's +2.
Great day for the course yesterday.
Yeah, the projected cut right now is
3 over.
Yeah, it is 3 over. So anybody who's worse than 3 over is going to be on the outside looking in. That's where you could find a guy like Cam Young. He is 4 over par. Oh, how about our boy John Rahm? Oh my goodness! All that talk about the Spanish flag, we might have to put. I might not have to buy
Justin Cruz, John Rahm, and Jason Day. Jason Day was 6 over yesterday, I believe.
As is Rahm.
No, yeah,
both of them.
I mean, I get the picks though. They were coming in as the two of the hottest golfers coming into this tournament.
Oh yeah, I mean. And Rahm, who parred 1, bogeyed 2 and 3, bogeyed 6, doubled 7, and finally birdied 8, and then birdied 10 after a par on 9, and then ran a streak of pars up to 15. Had a really nice, dude, John, me and you both, man. Been right there with you. We all have.
I was
then
watching
bogey.
I was watching yesterday. I was watching Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka's group all day yesterday, and Scheffler was just playing great, pinpointing his approach shots within 8 to 10 feet, and Koepka could not hit an approach shot to save his life, but then would somehow probably had like 10 par saves of putts of 8 feet or longer.
Oh,
like a bunch of them, where it's just like he needed really good putts to save par, and he got a lot of them. Where it's like, man, if you just work on that approach shot, you could be right at top of the leaderboard right now. Instead, you're 2 over.
Yeah, he was, both bogeys made on the front 9, and then he made a bogey and a birdie on the back 9, and a whole bunch of pars. Whole bunch of pars for Brooks Koepka, who is hitting 53% of the fairways, 35% of greens in regulation, but putts per green, 1.8. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. What's crazy to me, driving accuracy, 54%, 53.9, right? And driving distance, on average for Brooks Koepka, 325.5. So I don't know if you guys have one of these, but if you don't, and you are an amateur golfer, and you are looking for a nice accessory to add to your bag, I'll tell you what that is on the other side of the break, because you start looking at some of these stats, and you start to realize it, like, okay, wait a minute. They all tell the same exact story, that it's masterful to watch these guys play. It's also incredibly frustrating to watch them play, because as an amateur golfer, you start to see these guys, and it's like, dude, how in the world, why? I'm not asking to hit my approach shots to 10 feet every time. They don't even do that. I forget, the average distance is like 32 feet on approach, but you see the highlights and you think that everybody's sticking it to 8 feet. That doesn't always happen, right? The difference is that when they hit the green, they're guaranteed almost a 2-putt. They've got very good feel with their lag putts, that if they don't make them, easy cleanup. And if they blow one by, it's like, whoa, wait a minute now. But usually they make that putt coming back too. But it's frustrating to see them hit fairway after fairway after fairway, green after green. My goodness. Like, can I hit a fairway? Can I hit a green in regulation? That would be fun. I hear it's fun. I don't know. But that one accessory, I'll tell you what that is on the other side. Plus, we'll take a look at the weekend ahead. And Eric Spoelstra, not a fan of all these firings. What does one of the best coaches in the NBA have to say? We'll get into it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
You are very popular. Your texts want your attention, your touchscreen wants your attention, social media wants your attention, and that tuna sandwich you just dropped between the seats definitely wants your attention. All of them can wait because you're busy driving. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police reminds you that April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. We want you and everyone around you to be safe, so tell your distractions to wait, especially that tuna sandwich.
When you're in construction, you know that every minute matters and every dollar counts. You've got materials to purchase, employees to pay, and deadlines to meet. What you don't have is time to worry about your accounting, taxes, or ways to grow your business. That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is construction, our business is helping you run your business better. From tax planning, payroll processing, or R&D credit studies, we're here for you with concrete advice and answers. Let us help you build a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're a subcontractor, developer, architect, or engineer, of all the things you build, make your business the strongest. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Spin the money wheel and win up to $100,000 cash. Every Saturday in April from 5 to 11 p.m. One winner each hour will spin for the win and take home up to $100,000. Whirl in for $100,000 money wheel. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Playoff action continues over at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get on the excitement of the conference finals with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet, score $150 in bonus bets when your team wins, pardon me. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. Open up the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place the same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Text us, use the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. All right, there is one piece of equipment because the PGA's here, right? And I know that some of our listeners like golf, some of our listeners do not like golf. But there is one accessory that you absolutely must add to your bag, and it is the Wingman. The Bushnell Wingman is a multi-purpose tool that is sensational. It is the app allows you to be able to see the hole and pick distances on different, basically wherever you tap the screen, right? So if you're looking like, oh, how far is that bunker on the left? You just tap the bunker on the left and it gives you the distance from where your phone's at to that bunker. And then with the speaker, you're able to listen to music if you like to do that out there on the course. And if you tap the little button on the top, it'll actually give you a voice that'll tell you, like, hole 5 or hole 4, par 5, 510 yards, or whatever the case may be. The reason that I say that hole and that distance is because it happened to me. And if there was just a way, I don't know, like I go to the range and I'm not really sure like what the best swing thought is to have before I swing. Because I'll put like 3 or 4 together, like in a row, that are just absolute stripes with the driver. And then it's like, then I get away from it. I'm like, how do I consistently hit this thing? I'm not even asking for it to be down the middle. I just need a consistent flight path. Then I might be able to play it.
Well, for you, you can swing slower. That's something that you could work on. I know that's not you, but you could definitely swing slower. And that would help your consistency immensely, because I'm sure your body is either, a quarter inch, a quarter second too fast, a quarter second too slow compared to the way you're swinging it, and that's the way the ball's going to go that day.
And so I worked on that a little bit. I have to control and slow down the tempo of my takeaway. I absolutely have to. Because we're going to, here's the problem I have. We're going to swing hard at it. Like I pull out my 3-wood, just drop a ball. I'm going to have to do that on some of the courses this year. Like I know that, if I send that first drive and we feel good about it, great. But if there's, OB or hazards in play, like just hit 3-wood. I don't even have to, I can get more distance out of the 3-wood than I can hit in the 2-iron. And, made a good decision the other day. I wanted to hit driver bad. It was a par 4. There was a pond all the way up the right side. The green it was dogleg right, so the hole just followed the pond. I'm like, hey, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, baby. Let's go. Get the big dog out. Start barking at it. And then I put my driver away and I hit a 3-iron off the tee, because it's like, why would I go for what's the purpose of me trying to hit this green? Come on. The hole's only like 380, 390 yards, and that's going the length of it. So what is it from point A to point B here? If I purify this one, I could hit that green. All right. you're struggling to hit fairways that are, 50 yards wide. How the hell are you going to hit a green? You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to, but a little bit of discipline there. But slowing the tempo. The other thing I like about the wingman is if where like you're positioned at, if you hit a good shot, you could click the yardage button, and then as you go up to your ball, wherever your ball landed at, you click the yardage button again, and it'll total it out for you for how far you hit the previous shot, which I think is fascinating that they can do that. Like this thing, the thing has every single course in America on it. And I don't even know if it's got overseas courses, but I'd like to see if it does. I might have to go to Canada and play. I got to play with my buddy Andy Delmore up there before anything shakes out. But yeah, he's up at Canada. I got to go play with him. Dave in Hudsonville is on the horn. Dave, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Morning, AB. Happy Friday, man.
Happy Friday, partner. How the hell are you?
Doing well, man. So, hey, I couldn't get in yesterday with some stuff with golf conversation, but I did want to add a couple things since you're talking about it again. Yesterday you were talking about Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this: Tiger Woods has the most talent. Jack Nicklaus has had the best career when it comes to winning. And here's one of the things I'll say differently too. Most pros, and I have a degree in turf management, by the way. So I know a little bit of what we.
Where'd you went to Michigan State?
Yeah. So.
What course do you manage? Are you out there managing a course?
Oh no! I went to a different field. I picked it up
okay.
and I worked in Arizona for an internship and so forth. But I went to a different field.
Gotcha.
Whatever. So, but one of the things I would say is professional golfers prefer fast greens. It's like professional baseball players who prefer fast pitchers as opposed to somebody who lobs it. So even though you can talk about a slower stimp meter being easier, it's all relative per se in the sense that pros want it like linoleum. They want that thing to roll like it's on, linoleum, and that thing goes, man, because they're most comfortable with that. Just like Major League Baseball batters want fastballs. They want the ball like 95 to 100. They do not want somebody coming in and throwing 70 miles an hour because it changes everything, and it kind of turns everything off and so forth. And the other thing I will say is with Tiger Woods, you do a little research. Tiger went through that time. He was on the juice, man. He went through the cream and the clear and went through those different things. So it's almost like, when you're talking about Barry Bonds and you're talking about Mark McGwire, the different thing for Tiger. And it's hard to compare Tiger and Jack. Tiger's a tremendous golfer, but at the end of the day, the equipment changes, the, performance-enhancing drugs, variety of different things.
Wait a minute now. You got any proof, or are you just throwing out slanderous allegations?
No, I'm not going to go out and say what it is, but if you do some research, and I do have some inside knowledge, but not to be shared, and I hate to do that in front of these guys, but if you do some checking, you'll find a lot of information on Tiger, kind of in those waters and kind of around that stuff.
So let's go with Bryson DeChambeau, right? So here's my thing with Jack and Tiger. Jack won in his first 22 majors. What he win? 7 of them was the stat yesterday, and Tiger won 8. Right? Tiger was 81 under par. Jack was plus 40.
That's at the end of the day too.
That's crazy.
At the end of the day too, you look at the equipment changes. You look at how far. Look at how far they're hitting the baseball now compared to how far. The difference in bats, the difference in strength training. Tiger. No one was near Tiger. Jack always did battle with a variety of different. You can go through the list of players. There was a group of golfers that all could win at that point. Tom Watkins, Gary Player, Arnold Palmer. The list goes on and on. Tiger just had Tiger. Tiger turned into a freak by a variety of different things, and there was really no one even testing Tiger in most situations. That's how far of a jump he made when it comes to his talent, how much he was dominating, don't you think?
Oh yeah, there was Tiger was like leaps and bounds. He was like one of the first ones that made golf kind of look athletic.
Well, but there was a reason too. If you look at Tiger, and if you look at some of the other things that go on, and that time period was all enhanced by performance-enhancing drugs. So do a little research on that because, there wasn't. I think it just wasn't Tiger hitting that ball.
Oh, well, you still, but the thing about it is, look at Bryson. So didn't Bryson hit somebody? I think he hit somebody yesterday with an errant tee shot. He hit another golfer who was trying to tee off on 18. but I think you still have to be able to stick the green. And I think that when you have the slower rolling greens, those are more favorable to hold the ball, so you can actually hit it closer. Like, yeah, I get that. I would prefer to putt on a fast surface as well. That's just my personal preference. I would rather have them be lightning quick than slow. But when they're lightning quick, if they're real fast, sometimes they're real hard to stick. And it's tough to get your approach shots to hold for amateur golfers. For professionals, I mean, they can spin it
and
anyway.
the other thing, too, AB, course designers have had to completely overhaul courses in the last 20 years.
It's an arms race against distance.
Yeah, but based on how courses used to be developed and where fairway traps were and green traps were, everything, even where other hazards had to be, everything had to be changed based on equipment and based on ball flight and based on what was going on. It changed everything.
Well, I'd say, it's interesting to see how it all plays out because Bryson actually went through, like, he gained 50 pounds and he was on this, like, quest for distance, right? And I think even yesterday he averaged, like, 347 off the tee or something crazy. But he actually lost a bunch of weight, which is, I mean, he put on all this weight and then he went ahead and just lost it, lost like 20 or 30 pounds because, he realized, like, flexibility is way more important, being able to turn your actual body, getting a full turn than it is to be, have a crazy amount of muscle mass. So it's interesting to see how guys kind of approach their theory and what they do, how they train. Is it more like calisthenics? Is it more weight training? Is it like resistance type of stuff? It's very involved. And that's the way that, I mean, look at the way that sports have evolved as a whole. We went from guys, smoking in the clubhouse to, eating protein shakes. So.
Yeah, and the second thing with golf, I think so much more of golf. I mean, all sports are psychological and mental, but so much more. Tiger, it was interesting. Jack maintained his mental focus, I think, and kept that whole thing, and it was a different time. Tiger went through some tremendously challenging times, self-inflicted as well, and not, with injuries and also some. And the whole thing, too, is think about if Tiger wouldn't have had to experience that, what his career might have been like. He cost himself so much based on self-inflicted wounds and other things that went on with that as well.
Yeah, and as all that's taking place, and he's kind of taking a step back, the influx of young guys that were coming in that are playing at a crazy level, who he was the inspiration to. So you think about, you're physically taking a step back. You're trying to come back off of injury. You got your wife who should have gotten an attempted murder charge when she chased you down the drive with a golf club. But whatever. Well, I'll stand here and defend Tiger in that. Do whatever you want, man. She didn't hit any putts. Knocked down his house, for God's sakes. That's neither here nor there. As you get older, your physical limitations start to show themselves. And then you got this group of young guys, the Rorys and the Spieths and the Justin Thomases of the world, the Dustin Johnsons, Adam Scotts. Like, everybody seemingly is getting better. They're still tinkering around with the courses, trying to figure it out. Now they want to roll the ball back a little bit. They got to, it's an interesting topic, but a good day, as Ryan pointed out earlier, a good day for the course yesterday. It played pretty tough.
And Tiger lost his fear factor. Those guys, they no longer feared him.
Yeah, and I think now, especially now he smiles, he talks to people like he never used to do that. He just go out there and just want to eat you alive. All right, Dave. Hey, man, have a great weekend, partner. Let's get to Dale in Muskegon. Dale, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. You're talking Tiger, you're talking golf. I have to chime in. So, I've told you guys openly I wasn't always the person I am today, and I I abused steroids for some time. And the eye test, not only does the eye test tell me that, I could tell when Tiger started juicing almost what he was taking down to what cycles. For sure, now, in his defense, he still played great golf. But he clearly was on juice. From a guy who was on juice for years and dealt with it for a long time, 0%. If you want to prove it, go to a guy named Derek, more plates, more dates. He breaks it down. He's like an aficionado, like the first knowledge of steroid use. Or Chael Sonnen, who knows the doctor that Tiger got his steroids from. They shared the same doctor. He was a UFC fighter. I follow both them guys. With that being said, Tiger was still the most dominant, with or without. When he came on the tour, he was not on juice. You remember when he buffed up, right? He got super jacked over the course of a summer. One time he comes back looking like a different person. I'm telling you, just don't put on 20 pounds of muscle with his frame in a summer. Not naturally. Them guys do not physically, they do lift weights now. Tiger changed all that stuff. He changed, you said it, from being Gumby guys to athletes. He did all that. And you remember the phrase tiger-proofing courses, right? Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
changed courses because he was that good.
They tried to tiger-proof Augusta. They did a big spread in Sports Illustrated about how, trying to
100%.
tiger-proof Augusta.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from what Tiger did by saying that because I'm a true Tiger fan. Phil is obviously my favorite because I'm a lefty, and Tiger is right there with him. I don't want to take away. The guy was amazing, and not only his self-inflicted, stuff, but the stuff he put up with on the course, breaking barriers, and there was other black golfers, but there wasn't dominant. You know what I mean? Like he put up with a lot of racial and racist and on and off, and the guy was amazing, man. I don't want to sit here and tell you that the only reason he was good because he took some extra testosterone. The guy was truly amazing. But
I need extra testosterone. Now we advertise for it. I gotta put some cream on it right here. I gotta bulk up. Let's go. I'm teasing.
Now, because of my steroid use, my testosterone is obviously screwed. So I use another one of your sponsors, Mentality, and I get TRT from them.
Oh, very nice.
I'm just rolling out your sponsors left and right, guys.
Yeah, I love it.
Anthony, hey, and I love your stance on stuff, man. We are dead right on most things you say. I'm in the car going, yep, his wife should have went to jail for that. He would have went to jail for it, right?
Amen.
I agree completely.
I mean, you got a salary. Got a salary cap. All right. Hey, thanks, Dale. Love you too, man.
Hey, my back's getting better, man. The treatment's working. I had it again at QC Kinetics, man. It's working, guys. It's working. Today I can walk. Yesterday I had shots I couldn't. Today I'm up and about, moving around like a dang near free man. So it's working. So far I strongly recommend it to everybody. I'll keep you guys posted.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Dale. Love you, man. Have a great weekend. There's Dale in Muskegon. He's on the Mentality. I love that. They take your blood, see what you got. Matt Muskegon's on hold. Good morning to you, Matt. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm not sure how to follow up after that, but I'm going to do my best shot here.
It was wild. I love it. Welcome to Morning Radio. Woo!
There's no question that I don't know how anybody could argue that Tiger and Jack aren't equal, if not Tiger being better. I'm a little younger, so I didn't see Jack play in his prime, of course, but what Tiger did for the game of golf, when Tiger was in his prime, I don't think I would rather be doing, there's not a college football game or a pro football game or anything that would have taken the place. Now, I know they're not at the same time, but if Tiger was in the league going into Sunday, I know most of the people in the sports world were watching that as opposed to anything else. So, he changed the revenue, and he ultimately is, in my opinion, he has more wins than Jack, just not more majors. So I don't know how anybody could argue he's not the greatest golfer of all time. But you guys have a great day.
Hey, Matt Muskegon, appreciate the call. We're going to hit the break. Top of the hour, we're back. Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros. Don't go anywhere. Here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations. I think there's close to 30 across the Huge Radio Network. For the one close to you, go to MrCarWash.com, and there you can join their Unlimited Wash Club. Now, this is a quick and convenient way to keep your car shining all the time. It's everything you love about getting your car washed in a simple, easy-to-use, affordable plan. As an Unlimited Wash Club member, you will enjoy all the benefits of washing as often as you like, no long-term contract, convenient monthly billing, and now you can be rest assured with a contactless visit. So go to MrCarWash.com right now, sign up for their Unlimited Wash Club Pass, and that means you can get your car washed at any Mr. Car Wash location across the Huge Radio Network or anywhere in America. And for the location close to you across the Huge Radio Network, you can also log on to MrCarWash.com.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the car.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenny Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes.
Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros. It is hour number 3 on this 19th day of May 2023. Broadcasting live all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. So great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. We appreciate you making us a part of your day, and we encourage you text the show. Use the keyword sports radio, send it to 21,000, and then you can share any of your thoughts. You don't have to text sports radio every time. You can just text us regularly. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. That's where we're going to find Freddie. Good morning, Freddie. How are you?
You telling me now, after all this time, I don't have to text sports radio?
Yeah, you don't have to text sports radio. Once you have us locked in 21,000, you just text us.
So I never have to type. I never have to type sports radio again.
Do you type it in?
Well,
every text?
unless you now if say like we have a contest. So like we're hosting. We're going to be doing a giveaway here soon. Hopefully, if you enter that, then yes, you would have to re-text sports radio so that you are texting the correct keyword.
No, I don't enter those. I don't enter those contests because I don't want to take it away from. I don't want to be that guy to take it away from somebody else. I want other people to benefit. But that's
how kind of you, Freddie. What a man! What a man of the people.
I am a man of the people. I am a kind person until I call your show. Then you infuriate me. I don't know why you do that. But
why is that? Why are you upset?
I love you, AB. You're the best. You're the best. Hey, listen. How long are you gonna stay in Florida? You gonna live down there permanently?
Well, long story short, I was coming down here anyways. My dad and I do an annual pilgrimage every year, spend some time together, and I usually take the equipment with me and work remote. And then I stumbled upon I was reading an article and stumbled upon a job posting, and so I clicked the job posting and I applied for it, and I had a phone interview, and then that went well, and then I had an in-person interview. And that went really well too, but the job isn't a fit. Like the listing didn't necessarily match up with what they were looking for, because I thought that I was hoping that it was going to be like a 9 to 5 sort of deal for that particular station, and then I would be able to still do morning radio, and then during the football season be able to commute back to work Lions and Michigan game days, and then just fly back on Sundays. That was my grand plan. But what they're going to need is much more of a hands-on Saturday and NFL Sunday type of deal, and it's just not. It was great to be in the room, great to meet with people, good conversations to have, and things went well. Sent the follow-up email, that was good. So
what you're saying is Stephen Ross flew you in to interview for the Miami Dolphins play-by-play job. Tour the Hill one more time, baby.
Can you imagine? Oh my God! Can you imagine? This would turn into tour radio.
Man, you would be fantastic for that job. I mean, you got the voice, you got the look. Miami. I mean, you could call a game. And
I wore a salmon color. I wore the salmon colored jacket to the interview. That's all I had.
Get you that Miami Dolphins color jacket.
My dad has one of those. I'm sitting in a Miami Dolphins colored chair right now.
He could call a 205 touchdown game. Shoot over to the beach, have about 5 honeys over there rubbing him down with suntan lotion with a cigar in his mouth, and then go back in and do some prep work for the next game. I mean, you talking about? I mean, you got the voice, you got the look. The only
I am
problem
a
with
minister
that is,
of God, Freddie. How dare you?
but the
You're
only
a minister of
problem is
the internet, Anthony.
your poor mother. How could you leave your mother? I mean, the best butcher in Michigan. I mean, seriously, how could you do that to your mother?
I'll be there. I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you. Be a good son.
But the job thing that came out of nowhere. That was just random, and I was like, oh, let's see what this is. And then I clicked it, and I was like, oh, that seems kind of interesting. Like, oh yeah, no, I could do that. And then I was like, oh well, here's a phone call. Like, oh, but it wasn't. I didn't come down here with any plans. I was going to do this right after college basketball season ended, but we lost one of our employees. And so it was just my uncle and myself and my mom and my dad. And it makes it really, I struggle a lot with guilt. So it makes it very difficult to say no.
Catholicism.
Or to walk away. And I'm fine with that. You can say it's religion based, but I just, if you're able to.
Anthony, it is like, you don't, it's okay. Like, even if we're not like 100% practicing, that's what Catholicism gave us.
Preach, Dan. Dan's always
was the guilt.
Dan's always preaching.
Yeah, it didn't make being Catholic never made me feel guilty. What makes me feel guilty is watching my 65-year-old mother work every day of the week. That's what makes me feel guilty.
It's some of those dumb takes that you have which makes you feel guilty. To be honest with you, I mean, no, I'm not trying to be funny, but some of those takes you have are just silly. I would feel guilty too. But anyways, listen. I know you're doing what you love. I know you're doing your dream job, but you might want to consider just being your own boss and buying a business. You're talented. Screw always answering to the boss. The bosses stink. I've never had a boss in my life. I love it, but you're doing what you love. I admire that. Anyways, I called because you were talking about the wingman. Okay, now I've golfed with Dan, and Dan loves to play his music, and I love it as well too. I've never golfed with you yet, Anthony, because you keep ducking me. And Ryan, I'm looking forward to that very soon. Now, I golf with my brother-in-law, and I want to know, when you talk about the wingman and stuff like that, do you? I don't think Dan does it. I don't remember Dan doing it every shot, but are you that guy that has to take out his little radar gun and shoot every shot?
No, I pull up to the thing, usually having a conversation, especially when I'm playing with my buddies. I pull up to the ball in the cart. I hit the button. We're still talking. I'm not listening to what the guy told me from the wingman, whatever his name is. I'll call him Felipe. Felipe tells me, I don't know what the hell he said.
Hey, yo, Pierre!
I go, hey, hit the button again, would you? Like, how far is this? They hit the button again, whether it's my dad or my buddies, slam a beer, and grip the club tight and get ready to rip another one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a radar gun, though, but I did play with a kid who was trying out for FAU's team. He had one of those, which I was fine with. I mean, take your time. Play your game, man. We're not going anywhere anyways. It's the two of us, and his dad was riding along, and we were stuck behind threesomes and foursomes, so I was fine. You read the putt every angle you want. You want to come out here and shoot 68, 69? By all means. I said, watch this.
I mean, guys look at the radar gun, the bunkers on the right, bunkers on the left. Dan would just get up there. He'd be blasting his Alan Jackson. Chattahoochee would come on, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm saying I'm landing the ball. I want to land the ball on the front of the green most of the time.
Yeah,
like if it's
absolutely.
130, okay, I'm hitting it 134. That's what I'm telling. And then that's all I need.
Absolutely. And Dan can golf. I'll tell you, I know you've golfed with him. Maybe Dan can golf. He's pretty good.
I don't think we actually ever played together.
No, we had
a couple year difference in age for the Meyer Junior Tour, but we knew like the same guy. What was the guy's name that ran that?
Alger Baker.
Alger, how could I forget that? Alger Zero Baker, man, that's something.
Well, we're gonna go within the next 30 days. I'm gonna make sure it happens. And the last thing I want to say, I've been hearing this Tiger Jack stuff. I'm lucky enough. I'm old enough to see both of them play. I watched Jack win the '86 Masters. I watched that, and that was the tail end of his career. And all this stuff that Tiger took this, Tiger took this. Listen, I don't understand steroids. I thought it was for endurance more than muscles. But I'll tell you this: whatever he did or didn't do, he made those putts.
Amen.
Incredible. He made that 220-yard shot out of the sand over the water onto the green, 6 feet from the cup in Canada. those 7-foot putts for par in big moments, he made those putts, and you can't take those away. See you guys.
No doubt. There goes Freddie. Isling Outdoors on YouTube said, you don't need roids for putting. Hey, drive for show, putt for dough, baby. We're back after this here on X's and Bros.
Got any plans for Mental Health Action Day? You do now. Join us online on Thursday, May 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. for In Tune, a free live stream event featuring performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Br0's, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to find out how you can log in and join the celebration for free. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day. Take action. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org and join the celebration.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! James! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Ask Tiger how he measures himself. He would say, my height, of course. Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us. Golf season's here, talking a lot of golf. PGA Championship taking place. Great time for you to get over to Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes, offering not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives is located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's up north golf without the drive. Tullymore not only features top-of-line golf, but also top-of-line accommodations. And the perfect space for your wedding, event, reception, or group outing. Got a wedding coming up there that I'm just showing up to. TullymoreGolf.com. TullymoreGolf.com or call 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Didn't get an official invite to that wedding. So, got to double check with the bride and see what the date is. Just want to be able to make
Have you ever gotten like the non-invitation invite to a wedding to be like, hey, like we're kind of capped here, but if you show up at like 7, you're good?
Yeah, that actually happened last summer. I was in LaSalle, Michigan. If you know where that's at, right on the beautiful shores of Lake Erie. And there was an outdoor house party because the neighborhood's called North Shores, and people are crazy. They all have golf carts. They all just drive around. All the parents are wild. All the kids now are our age, so some of them even have kids. It's just absolute chaos there Friday through Sunday. And there was one of the young ladies was getting married, and the older sister was like, you guys could definitely come to the wedding. And I started laughing. She's like, no, seriously.
Yeah, just come after dinner. You can
okay.
come have, because it's the open bar, you can come have drinks, but like.
Yeah, I had to work, so it worked out perfect. I mean, by the time I got off and got showered and got changed and headed on over there, it was like, yeah. I was the only one that went, though. Like, nobody else wanted to show up. And I was like, I'll show up to your wedding. I don't care. Walk around, say hi to people. Why not? Have some cocktails? The hell. And the best part about it was like right across the street from my parents. So it was easy to, hey, knock on the door. Hey, open up in there. Let me in. Andy Dirks is going to join us here momentarily, about 15 minutes from now, to talk about the Detroit Tigers. And look, there is outside of all of our golf. I can't believe you listen to Alan Jackson, by the way, on your Wingman. You listen to a lot of country music?
I listen to anything and everything. There's a playlist on Spotify, Golf Cart Classics. That's one I go to a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Golf Cart Classics?
Sometimes. Yeah, it's just like basically the 94.7 playlist, I would say. Yeah, and then sometimes, it's a big booty mix, something
Big booty mix?
Yeah, it's like
Daniel.
That's what they're called, Anthony. It's a podcast, and they're brothers. They're called the Brothers Big Booty Mix, and it's just there's like 25 of them, and they're just like an hour-long mix of songs.
Oh, interesting. I should curate my own playlist and then put it out there on Spotify that people can download and play. I'd have to get real creative, though. Got to have some classics, some new school stuff, some old school stuff. Like, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll, sift through and put together our Back Nine Bandits playlist here. I like that. All right, last night we had the Nuggets beating the Lakers 108-103, taking a 2-0 lead over the Lakers. I have the sneaky suspicion Lakers are going to win Game 3, but I don't think that they're going to do anything more than that. I really don't. I mean, the Lakers are. It's very interesting to see how this team. This could be a gentleman's sweep type of series here for the Nuggets, but they got some games from the other guys. Like Austin Reeves played his hind end off. Rui Hachimura in 30 minutes, he started off 7 of 7 from the field. Like if they don't get those kind of performances from them, Anthony Davis, what'd he do? 18. LeBron had 22. They just don't have enough, and it was going to be an other guys kind of game, and they definitely needed more out of Anthony Davis because you got that kind of performance from Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. You can't bank on that. But I got to be able to bank on LeBron getting at least 20 and Anthony Davis doing the same. And, yeah, it's like, okay, 18's damn near 20, but you score 40 one game, you come back with 18 the next. Like, that's just not good enough. Not when the guy that you're going against, like Anthony Davis has no answer for Nikola Jokic. None. And Jokic can defend him. But when it's one-on-one, and they space the floor, and they get that wing entry. It's kind of like it's like an extended post catch for Jokic, right? Because it's like free throw line extended out of the wing, and he catches it right there. And whoever passes it to him for that ball side wing just cuts through to the other side of the floor, and it's one-on-one. It's barbecue chicken alert. Like, there's no Jokic's spin move going baseline's too good. He's got too many tools in the bag. He isn't athletic. Like, it's crazy. You got this 7-footer that is so smooth with the basketball. He's not going to rise up and dunk over the top of you, but he's going to do everything necessary, get that ball in the basket. And the Nuggets got an other guy's performance out of Jamal Murray, which I feel bad saying an other guy's performance, because they're going to need Murray and Porter and Jokic, their big three, and Aaron Gordon, who had a nice game as well. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope disappeared, put on a very Pistons-esque performance last night, and they were still able to win the game. I think it's going to be curtains here for the LA Lakers. They win Game 3 in LA. Games 4 in LA, they lose. Game 5 back in Denver, toast, out. Then you got to look around. Who can LeBron add? Tonight you get Game 2. Can the Heat pull it off again? Can Hemi Butler do it again against the Boston Celtics? Celtics went through that stretch between like the 4-minute mark and the 1.5-minute mark where they were just god-awful. And they got to come with some better offense. You can't, like, Jason Tatum's got to touch the basketball every possession. But it's got to be in the flow of the offense, too. Like, my God, quit passing the ball and be like, oh, they do what Michigan did when Jett Howard had the ball. Everybody became a spectator. Stop watching. Move the ball and move without it. It's aggravating. Now, on to Eric Spoelstra, the head coach of the Miami Heat. He's a little disgruntled right now. He is, although he said that the play-in is really the best thing for the NBA in a decade, which I thought was very surprising that he would say such a thing, he is actually not a fan of what's been taking place here. Now, Nick Nurse is going to meet with the 76ers brass about their job, but Spo said it's disturbing to see so many coaches get fired. And here's the deal. It's always going to be easier to fire the coach and to blame them than to have a star in which management or coaching staff might have to call out, might have to, have a little bit of a, you don't want your star, like we're in such a weird spot, because that's why I love Jimmy Butler so much. Not too many people have his mental metal where he wants to win. Like, that's got to be at the end all be all for everybody. And it's so much easier to fire the coach and try to find somebody new. But when you look at Nick Nurse, you look at Frank Vogel, you look at Mike Budenholzer, like all these guys getting fired. Monty Williams, like we're talking the winningest coaches in the game, guys that have won titles, get fired. And then, I mean, for Frank Vogel, okay, but Frank Vogel was good in Indy. It didn't mesh with LeBron. I wonder why. But it's Spoelstra's right. Like, it's disturbing, but they're not going to, they're going to cater to the athlete who they're paying $20, $30, $40 million a year to play an 82-game schedule, but they don't even play all 82 games. So that they can have load management and rest days. You don't want to ruffle those feathers. So what do? You can the coach. And Doc Rivers, there's another one. Doc Rivers out in Philly. Right, that we knew that we talked about it. Everybody's heads on the chopping block if they were to lose. They lost. The only two guys that were safe are Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. I stand by that. And Harden's like, well, Harden rumored to go to Houston for what? Why would you take that on if you're Houston? That doesn't do anything for you. That's an awful contract for a guy that's proven that he can't win. That's just crazy to me. So although I agree with Spoelstra, I understand why these things keep happening in this league. All right, we're going to step aside. We're going to talk a little MLB. Kind of strange. Tigers 2 off days this week. That's kind of weird. We'll talk to Andy Dirks, our friend of the show. He's on the Tigers broadcast. We'll talk about it next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
At Mercantile Bank, we understand that different businesses have different needs. That's why our team of business specialists take the time to understand your business, your goals, and your objectives. We provide tailored solutions and innovative products, all delivered locally. So when you're ready to work with a partner who understands your unique business needs, call us. We're here and ready to put the wheels in motion. To learn more, visit us online at mercbank.com/business, and let's make dreams a reality. Member FDIC.
When you're in construction, you know that every minute matters and every dollar counts. You've got materials to purchase, employees to pay, and deadlines to meet. What you don't have is time to worry about your accounting, taxes, or ways to grow your business. That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is construction, our business is helping you run your business better. From tax planning, payroll processing, or R&D credit studies, we're here for you with concrete advice and answers. Let us help you build a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're a subcontractor, developer, architect, or engineer, of all the things you build, make your business the strongest. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go! No, first base! Go, run!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Everybody's working for the weekend this weekend. The NBA playoffs are back with the conference finals over at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the association. Get in on all the excitement every game with the touch of a button. New customers make a $5 pregame moneyline bet on either the Eastern or the Western Conference Finals. Get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Plus, everyone can score on the no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the conference finals. If it doesn't hit, you get a bonus bet back up to $10. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE, promo code HUGE only at DraftKings. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in is required. One bonus bet issued based on the amount of the initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. That's Danny Cahalan and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. Join us on the horn, and you've heard him on the Tigers broadcast as well. Let's welcome back our friend Andy Dirks, the Detroit Tiger himself, in the broadcast booth. Man, Andy, you're all over the place. What's going on, my friend? Thank you for taking the time to join us. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Things are outstanding. You know, I sell real estate by day, broadcast games by, 4 whenever they needed me. So it's really not that many.
No, man, I love it, man. I think it's fantastic. How did the opportunity come about, man? How did you find yourself in the booth?
I've done them before in the past, and basically Stan, who runs kind of the broadcasting stuff up there, texted me at about 9 o'clock at night to do the game the next day. And I said, well, let me check my schedule. And then run it by the wife. She says, okay, and I'm in the booth.
Hey, see, smart man. Ran it by the wife just to double check, just make sure, we don't have a day at the orchard or the pumpkin patch or something.
Some things are better to ask for permission. Some things you just roll with. Some things I don't ask for permission. But there are some things it's a little better to ask for permission up front.
Hey, the smart man. That's a good man right there. It's kind of a strange week, though, with the Tigers being off 2 days this week. What does that do to the rhythm of the players? Not only for, your schedule for pitchers, I guess it's kind of nice to have an extra rest day in there, but for the hitters that are going to go a Monday and a Thursday this week without seeing any live pitching.
Yeah, it can be good and bad. I mean, if you're struggling, it's always good to get an off day kind of bunched in, because they probably won't have the stretch like this the rest of the season with this many off days minus the All-Star break. But it's like baseball's a tricky game because one day can be completely different from the day before. But when you're feeling good, you want to ride that wave as long as possible. Guys like Riley, Torkelson's been swinging the bat pretty well. So the last thing you want is multiple off days to kind of cool your bat off. Now, if you're like Nick Maton and you really can't even see what the ball's doing at all, then you're like, okay, I need like an off month, and then let's readjust. But sometimes an off day is great. Sometimes it's not. It just depends on how you come back the next day.
This team has been very, very interesting, right? I mean, like at 19-22 right now, they're sitting in second place in the Central, which is a good thing. And if you're a Tigers fan, I mean, you got to be scratching your head a little bit going, wow, I can't even believe that right now is feasible. They're tied right there with the Guardians at 3.5 games back, trailing the Minnesota Twins to this point at 19-22. How do you look at that, at this team? I think it's a great success. I was praying to God that this team wasn't going to have a record like the Oakland A's right now, like 10-35. Like this team, this year wouldn't be a lost year, and they're playing competitive ball.
Yeah, and they've played a really tough schedule. To be honest, like these first 40 games or so has been one of the tougher schedules in baseball. They're getting ready to come into a little stretch here where they should win some games, right? Based on what we have. The starting pitching's been good enough, which that was a huge question mark coming into the year because none of these guys had pitched a full season last year. So every dude in the rotation didn't have a full season under his belt. So you're like, okay, how's this going to pan out? And then the bullpen's been really, really solid when it needs to be, right? So numbers don't always show the full story, but there's enough guys in the bullpen, and AJ does a really good job of how do we win today. So he brought in like Cisnero in like the fourth inning or third inning of a game the other day, which he's a back in the bullpen kind of guy, but it was, 2, 3, 4 up in the lineup. So guys know what they're going to get in the lineup. So that's been very effective. It's kind of a newer strategy to baseball now that games aren't extended as far by the starting pitcher, to where how do we get this bullpen in here and make them effective? Hitting wise, I'm really encouraged by the middle of the order. Now we have some guys that need to either step it up or get out, right? And that's big league baseball. Guys that aren't producing, aren't putting together quality at bats. All we need to see,
who's going to be the serviceable big leaguers on this team this year, right? We're not quite a championship caliber team. Now, could we do something fun and like accidentally sneak into a playoff spot potentially? But we need to figure out who the serviceable guys are going to be, so that way when the cap comes up and Miggy's off, Miggy's 30-some million's off, and we get some other stuff freed up, then you go out and buy the free agent.
Yeah, it's a man. It's interesting. You mentioned the starting pitching, so I'll start there with you because we do sports talk radio, so it's it's every day, and people come up with some wild scenarios. But our guy Eduardo Rodriguez has pitched very, very well so far this season. He's been dynamite. Now, last time out wasn't great, but you're allowed to have one game where you give up, in 5 innings, you give up 4 earned runs, you strike out 5, you walk 2. Like it's worst performance of the season. And if that's your worst performance of the season, you're playing pretty damn well. Yeah. Is he a guy that you look at and say, yeah, no, he's good enough right now where, the stock is high, let's sell at the deadline and let's try to acquire more? Or is it like, hey, you know what, we're going to need somebody who's a starting pitcher on this staff and he's playing pretty well. Like let's keep it, ride it out with him.
Yeah, I don't think he's as good as his numbers have been this year. But I do think he's a solid starter. Like he's a top of the rotation type of guy. And what's really good about him is he's basically got 2 pitches that he can get through the order with twice, which is very unique as a starting pitcher. He's got the fastball and the cutter, and he throws it at enough of an angle from the left-handed batter's box, like from the left side from that batter's box, that the angle messes with the hitter enough for the first couple at bats that they can't get on him. Now, is he a guy that I'd sell the farm and say, hey, let's sign this guy to a long-term multi-year extension, I don't know. There's still a lot of baseball to play. But he's definitely could be a centerpiece for the rotation to kind of work off and see who else comes in. I mean, Lorenzen's been pitching really well. Faedo looked good last time out. Now, he's a guy that's going to be kind of like, you don't want him to be in your top 2 in your rotation. He's more like a 4 or 5 guy, right?
It's and you know what? You might have told us a little bit there without, just kind of being unsure. Like, hey, look, I don't know if that's somebody who you sign, for the size of the contract that he's going to be looking for at the end of this season, if he's still on this team. So I find that very interesting. One number.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I like the 2-pitch idea. I like that he throws strikes, and AJ loves that, right? And everybody loves that. If a guy can pound the zone. But like anybody, he's going to have his days where he's going to get hit around a little bit. It's big leagues, right? So what's it going to pan out to by, August? What's it look like? That's the big question. That'll be like, okay, what are we looking at in July? How's he looking?
There is a number, Andy, that we keep track of every day in the box score the next morning, right? And I have tried to come up with some kind of creative number for it, but basically just team strikeouts. And It feels like when this team is at like 7 or less, boy, they are really locked in, and we don't have too many of those games. We didn't have too many of them last year. This year, it seems like that number, although, okay, sure, the last time out, they get beat by the Pirates 8-0. They strike out 14 times. It's like, yeah, it's pretty indicative of why they couldn't get anybody on base and couldn't get any offense generated. But looking at this team, comparatively speaking, from 2022 to 2023, have you seen the improvement in the quality of the at-bats for this team being a little bit more patient?
Yeah, definitely. And AJ's made it a point that we're not going to swing at try to not swing at a ton of balls out of the zone. Obviously Javi's more of a free swinger, so it's a little bit player by player dependent. But what they're getting better at is not swinging at the ball up out of the zone. And that's something that they struggled with tremendously for the last about 3 years, is that heater that's, 3-4 inches up. Tough pitch to lay off, but they've done a better job laying off that pitch, which then now that opens you up to finding a little bit more of a hittable pitch and making the pitcher make tougher pitches later in the at-bat. So if you're not just swinging through a fastball that's a little above your letters every time you're 0-2 or 1-2, and now the pitcher's actually got to make a pitch, that opens him up to make more mistakes, right? So they're doing a little better of getting deeper into counts, and not everybody. Like some of the guys are still struggling, but the guys in the middle of the order, the bulk of the order has had much better at-bats this year.
Spencer Torkelson is a guy that, last year the struggles, obviously well documented. If you watch the Tigers, This year came out a little slow. We keep hearing the term like exit velocity, and people are very, I guess encouraged would be the right word, by the way that he is making contact. He's hitting the ball. He's hitting it hard. It's just not finding the right spot to drop in to get the kid a base hit. the improvement for him so far this year. The average is up to 233. I think that maybe I'm a little too optimistic in that sunny side up, but it feels like he's starting to get the hang of this.
Yeah, absolutely. He's only 23 years old. I mean, and he doesn't have a ton of minor league at-bats under his belt either, right? So you look at a guy, and it takes a while to develop. Like you have to, and there's two approaches. You either kind of develop in the big leagues or you develop in the minor leagues. And for Torkelson, good, bad, or ugly, he's kind of had to learn to develop in the big leagues in front of everybody, right? Where other guys, like if he had 600 at-bats under his belt or 500 at-bats in the minor leagues last year and and he didn't come up, and now he's doing what he's doing, it'd be like, okay, yeah, he went from the minor leagues, now he's adjusted in the big leagues, and so on and so forth. So it's like you can't be too unfair to a guy to get thrown into the fire and face big league pitching every day without having a ton of professional experience. I think he looks good. I think he's looks way better this year than he did last year.
Yeah, at the plate and in the glove at first base. I mean, he's good.
He's a good, solid player, and that's a piece that we don't need him to be a all-star. We need him to be a serviceable big leaguer, and what I mean by that is a good everyday. You can throw him out there; he'll help the team win enough ball games. That's fine, right? We don't need him to be a four-time all-star, and that's where it's just unfair to some of these guys. It's like to be an all-star, like it's a different caliber of player, and not everybody's going to reach that caliber. But what we want to see is serviceable big leaguers, and then you can fill the spots around them with the bigger contracts.
When you look at this roster on just a day-to-day basis, there seems to be a lot of position shuffling, if you will. Like we know Torque's going to be at first, and we know for majority of the games Javi's going to be there at short, and everybody else is kind of like dabbling around. Like there's a lot going on. Eric Haas catching, he'll be playing left field. You got Ibanez kind of roaming all over the place. You mentioned the word everyday big leaguer. So when you look at this roster right now, how many of those guys do you think are actually on this team?
Well, you got to look at percentages. Not everybody's going to make it, right? So we know we got Riley in center, Torque at first right now. That seems to be pretty good. Javi at short. That seems to be a pretty good combo. I like Haas at catching and playing left. That's fine because he can do it, right? And he can swing it. So that's fine. And AJ likes to have some guys that can mix it up a little bit. Because one of the issues that we can have on this team is not a lot of left-handed bats consistently up and down the order against right-handed pitching, right? So you kind of look at it and you go, okay, we need to make sure that we can shuffle a few guys around depending on the order because AJ loves to play matchups, which is good. But then also, like we said, who's going to be the guys? We got Riley in center. We got Javi at short. We got Torque at first. We got, and then it's like, okay, now these shuffle players, all we got to do is figure out who's going to be, are any of them going to make it, right? Because if not, then we have kind of more of a rebuild on our hands. Let's say Verling comes out of his little, proves he can play in the big leagues every day, and then we got a right fielder. Or Nick Maton proves that he can hit, and then he can play third base. But we just don't know that yet, right? So you got to keep giving these guys reps until you figure out, okay, out of these guys, is that it? Because if that's it, then we got to wipe the walls with them and then bring in a whole new crew. So that's going to prolong the rebuild. But if a few of these guys click, then it's pretty simple. We got a couple guys in the minor leagues that can hit a little bit. They're still a little far off though. And then go out in the free agency and buy a left-handed hitting right or left fielder that can really bop, or a third baseman, right? Because those are kind of the pieces. You can mix and match at second. I'm not too worried about second base. But we need somebody that can bop it, in the corner outfielders, one of those spots, and at third base.
Andy, is it difficult for you to watch Miguel Cabrera in kind of where he's at in his career this year? We all know it's the swan song. It's the retirement party. I get that. Sometimes, you see him out there and you're like, man, you think back to 2012, 2013. It's like, holy mackerel. How much difference a decade makes.
Yeah, I mean, you get old, man. Like your body doesn't do what it used to do. And I know he doesn't. He's not in love with the fact that he's not as competitive, or really not that competitive right now, right? So it's kind of like, how long do you ride the wave? Because, it's a roster spot. It's another spot in the order to get a guy at bats. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously I love Miggy. He's my guy. But at the same time, everybody kind of knows the writing's on the wall. I mean, we love you, but we got to build a new championship squad. And one thing I've learned about baseball and professional sports, it's like there's just not time for it. You gotta produce. You have to produce in professional sports, especially if the team is getting close to 500. Like the AL Central right now is the most winnable division in baseball, right? Like you look at the AL East and you're over 500 and you're in fifth place. You look at the Central, you're under 500 and you're in second. It's like, hey, there's a real opportunity here. So love Miggy, but at some point they're going to have to make a tough decision.
When do you think that point comes?
I wouldn't imagine the next month. Like once we hit June, like something's gotta give. You would imagine. And I know Miggy's gonna try to play. So they're gonna have to force their hand if Miggy's gonna come out of the lineup, right?
I've said throughout the season, like if this team gets good, I feel like Miguel's gonna have an IL trip coming soon.
Well, and I don't know if he'll do that, just because Miggy's not that kind of guy. So I think that he's going to make the upper management's going to have to make a tough decision. And that's what we'll see what Harris is made of a little bit of like, okay, here's one of the best players to ever put on a baseball uniform who's later in his career. It's like, okay, welcome to the big league GM role here. Like you got to make tough decisions sometimes and it's not fun. And I don't love it. But at the same time, it's a business and you have to put the best team on the field day in and day out to win ball games. Like when I hurt my back and I had back surgery, it's not like baseball just stops for you, right? It's like it's got to keep going for a good reason because it's an entertainment industry and it's the best. It's supposed to be the best baseball in the world. That's the whole point of the major leagues. People want to watch the best baseball in the world. They don't want to watch, AAA baseball. If they wanted to watch that instead of the big leagues, they'd tune into the Mud Hens games every night, not the Tigers, right? So it's like we want to see the best product on the field. And if you're not it, you got to go. Yeah, there's a little time. Let's give them a little time because baseball's a little bit longer of a curve as far as like you got to see if they're going to produce. But the at-bats I've been seeing from my man Miggy, like he's just old, man. Like his body. Like that's like me trying to go out there right now. I wouldn't have a shot. You know what I mean?
He is Andy Dirks. Find him on Twitter at AndyDirks12. You can find him on the broadcast. Find him in the real estate market as well. Hit him up on Twitter. Hit his line. Sell a house. Buy a house. Call Andy Dirks. Andy, my man, thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a great weekend, partner.
Hey, thanks, guys. Enjoy the day.
And love having him on. And that's real. I mean, that's what it comes down to. At what point can the Tigers say, okay, this is the decision that we have to make? Hey, everybody, it's been a great week. It's been a great morning. Thank you so much for being a part of our day and allowing us to be a part of yours. We'll see you Monday. Enjoy a action-packed week and weekend of sports, and we'll cover it all Monday morning, same time, same place, here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Godsmack, live and in your face. Friday, May 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino, plus Bad Wolves. And same show, same night, Bullet for My Valentine. Tickets start at $28, on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Party hard, rock harder. Godsmack, May 26th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR.